Step Kiwi, Part 2, Lesson 3. So you remember that we continue the topic of talk show. Here, if in Step Kiwi Part 1, the first lesson was connected with lesson number 1, and first the grammar, then the text. Here it's a bit vice versa. So first the text and after that the grammar. In this part, the students have already discussed a lot of grammar, and that's why they already know this grammar. And that's why we work with now vocab. So, and now lesson number 3, this is we continue the topic of talk show. And so you discuss, by the way, how are you today? We can say, how are you today? What did you do in the morning? For example, to practice the past. After that, we work with home sentences. You ask the students to check home sentences from the previous lesson. You send the formula. You ask the students to discuss when we use action, verb, when we use is are, when we use ed, when we use was, were, when we use will. So we discuss it. Okay, and after that, so we copy, so we work according to the algorithm. We help the students. As a rule, when it is Kiwi, the students do homework, at least 2-3 students of the group for sure. Then you send the words. We work with the old vocab. You announce every time. So my dear students, so we are going to work with old vocab. So first the words, read please, and one student, one block. You discuss unknown words if necessary. Then you open the file and you say, now my dear student, here is the formula. You know that, and now here are the words. So please, let's make up questions. It's up to you to decide. If in the group there are not so many students, you can ask them to make questions. If in the group the students like know each other, so they can ask questions. If just you understand that this is a technical task and after that you will have reading, after that speaking, you have no time, then you just ask the students to make questions without answers. And you continue. Thank you so much, because this is a part of the technical part, the technical task. The technical part will be also reading a question, reading a text. Then it's very difficult. So that's why reading after the vocab. Thank you so much, my dear students. So we start our communication and different questions. And here is my first question: introduction to the text. So today we're going to speak about interesting people and questions. So what do you know about Margaret Thatcher? So remember, 2-3 students, you don't discuss the personality, you don't do that. So please, okay, Marina, who knows? Who knows? Okay, she was. So you just collect some information. It's like warm up. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. Let's read the text, a text about a legendary woman. So personally, I love it. I love her. She was very interesting. Let's read about her and let's do the test. So be very attentive to details. Okay, and you start reading. One passage, one person. I understand that it can be very difficult because she's already like, because that's biography, but still unknown words. Or if you want to build the picture, the video, you can also help the students. And after that, the test. My dear students, you always announce every time you announce, my dear students, the test. Imagine as if the students had never visited your lessons before. So it should be like that. So the first time show. Okay, so Mary, read please. Margaret Thatcher came from a rich family. Okay, so my dear students, yes or no, true or false? Okay, your ideas or this person answers. No, exactly. So you see, her father was a grocer. He worked very hard for little money. The students didn't read. You can read and it will be quicker. But if you decide that the students read, it can take longer because text test, this is just dynamics. But if in the group, for example, today there are 2 students, let's read. Okay, next. And one by one, you check the answers. Thank you so much. Here we don't have interviews. Here we have more for discussion. So, my dear students, let's continue. You don't send Margaret Thatcher text. You don't send the test true or false. And we start. So, let's continue the topic of interesting people and questions. And here is my first question. And I want, you see, I know everything. And here is my question. You copy the question and one student reads, this person answers. Here is a recommendation about superstar comments because the question is personal. So it's better to use this technique. And the student answers and you say, guys, questions. That's so interesting. Give ideas of questions. Sometimes the students don't know what to ask about. What do you need for effective studying? Do you study a lot? For example, I study a lot. What do you study? When do you study? When is more effective? In the morning. So interesting. When important? When effective? When more productive? When lazy? When you are exhausted, for example. And when I prepare to that lesson, for example, I can also put down here where to be exhausted, to be tired. Maybe the students will need it. For example, productive, maybe they don't know this word, okay? And you write these words, and in that case you already have them in your collection. So, and after every question you have active words. In comparison with just discussion, when there was the text, you already have the words from the text. So please don't ignore active words. If you have 2-3 words from the first question, but I hope you will have more, because first questions usually are discussed very well and thoroughly. After that, you copy paste those words, line the words for each, and after that, these words as well. You can copy like that, or you can copy like that, doesn't matter, and send it to the next message. And the students read. And after that, you discuss if the words are unknown, or you help the students to understand, to explain, and after that, you copy the formula. So if you understand that your students need to practice questions, you send all the questions. So it's up to you to decide. Thank you so much, and we continue. Are you sociable? Are you good at small talk? And you question. So one student answers, the other students ask questions, and one by one. There are a lot of questions. And if you want to discuss one, like you're welcome. So if you understand about watching films, we've already discussed. No, we are not going to talk about, oh, if you see God, what will you do? It's very interesting. I want to ask this question. So as a rule, we start with the first one because it is connected with the film. With the film that you produce in the head of the students. But after that, you can choose questions. Okay, and at the end of the lesson, sorry, we don't read. Okay, we don't do any exercise. So when there is a text, there is no exercise. I will check. You see, I wanted to give so much love and so much work to the students that I didn't delete the exercise. Thank you so much. And the vocab, you send the vocab. So if you have time, you read. If not, a word of today. If you don't have time, for example, if you still have time, you can ask questions, for example, or any other formula. And after that, homework. You always announce homework. You send homework and you say, my dear students, at home you should learn the text by heart. So please, here is the text. It is about Margaret Thatcher. Here is audio. In your copy, in your books, there is also this information. So please read, at least listen to it many times, learn it. And if you have some problems, so if it's very difficult for you, learn 3 sentences. At least this is the minimum. Learn them, record the video, so the video or audio, and please, it's really very important for you, and I will be very happy as a teacher. If, of course, if you have time. Thank you so much. And after the lesson, you delete the Zoom link, chat, vocab, homework, scheduled message, and the report. So I really want to say that when we share homework, so remind the students what to do. It can be just blah, 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 blah. But anyway, some students, because in that case, the students will never say, I have never heard about that. Because when you repeat the same things, they remember them better. And one day they will start doing this and they will never say, you have never told me about that. So that's it, and see you in lesson 4.